Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of The Creatives. Today we have Katie. She is a fashion design student at FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. For anyone who knows me, knows that I love fashion, I love style, I love design. So this is a really fun episode for me to record and to interview Katie with. We talked about living in New York, kind of breathing New York, what the process was for her to get to New York from suburban Maryland, where we both grew up, and we kind of grew up close to each other, but we never knew each other until a few years ago, and we connected through Instagram. So we talk about that. We talk about the people who grew up in Howard County that made names for themselves, and some people who you'd be surprised about. And we also just talk about our favorite designers. I mean, this is just an episode where I love fashion, Katie loves fashion, and the art of creating clothing, and just being able to talk to someone with kind of the knowledge of that was super like inspirational for me. So I hope you all enjoy it. If you love this show so far, if you love the season so far, give us a like and a rate on Apple Podcasts, give us a rate on Spotify, give us a follow on Spotify, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you for listening. Enjoy. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to The Creatives. I am your host, James Glover, and on today's episode, we have a very special guest, KD, all the way from New York City. She is a student at FIT. We kind of grew up in the same hometown together, but never really met. We'll get into that. I'm excited to have you on.
Thank you for
I guess,
having me.
yeah, of course. I guess we'll just dive right in. So you just started at FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology, right? Did I get that right? Okay.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you're majoring in or what you're studying right now?
Yes. So I am in I will be going into my second semester of fashion design. There are 4 semesters in total, basically to get your associates. Um, and then I haven't chose yet if I want to reapply for a bachelor's, whether that's in fashion design or technical design or who knows what I'll be interested in a year or so.
Yeah, right. That's so much changes.
Yeah,
So it's like different levels. So there's associates, bachelor's, and then
it's a 2-year program school, which is probably like one of the biggest factors why I chose it. Because you can get an associate's degree and you can leave.
yeah,
And you know what I mean?
yeah.
Most universities are bachelor's. And then it's pretty cool. Like if you wanted to do 2 years in fashion design, get associates in that, you can get like 2 years associates in business, or like, you can kind of see like both ends of the school.
Yeah, that's kind of dope.
Um,
And
yeah.
that's awesome that you have like business and the creativity side together. Like that you can be able to
Yeah,
see both.
it's pretty interesting. I kind of thought I would be going to more of an art school, but a lot of the students are like business and marketing majors. So it's like, people are interested in fashion, but like, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many fields people can take with it. It's kind of crazy to me.
That's cool. Yeah. Whenever I think of, I don't know like shit about that FIT, but whenever I think about it, I think it's just like a bunch of like designers and like creative people just like
Yeah,
sketching and like sewing and like getting garments together. So
that's what
that's,
I thought.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's not like the fashion design program is like big, but not compared to like the business or the um marketing. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And also, like, I didn't know the fashion industry had a huge business thing, like a huge business back end to it. Of course, like until like
Yeah,
listening to the cutting room floor, and I was like, holy shit, like there's like a
I
whole
know.
industry behind this. Like, so that I guess that makes sense, but that's still kind of crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, it's interesting to me too because like a lot of stylists, I'm learning they have a business degree. They don't have a It's like a lot of all the business degrees and marketing degrees are all looking for styling internships.
Interesting.
And then they can start there and then go into like PR work, or because basically as an intern, you're kind of just messaging back, asking for garments and products, like back and
Right.
forth with other PR people from whatever brand it is, you know?
Interesting. I guess kind of going off of that, can you walk me through like if there's a day to day that you have a structure at FIT, like what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't know this about FIT until like obviously I'm signing up for classes. But typically, you would get all your gen eds done like first semester or second semester. But for FIT, in order to graduate in 2 years, the standard class amount to take is 7. So
Gotcha.
that includes 5 design or just fashion classes a semester, and then 2 gen eds. Um, I only took 5. I took the 5 required because they try to keep you on the same path. You know, you take draping
Right.
1 and then draping 2, and then it's like a very gradual structure is what I'm learning. But I did not take the 2 other gen eds because I had to work and I nearly broke my back trying to do all of even just 5. I
Yeah.
don't know how people do it.
Wait, 7 in one semester?
Yeah,
That's insane. What?
insane.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh, wow. Okay.
So my first my first semester, I guess I'll just go through. I had draping class, sewing class, textiles class, digital design, and what am I missing?
Like the basics of it all, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm missing one though. Sewing, textiles, digital. Well, anyways, whatever. So it
Yeah.
was what I thought was really cool. A drawing class. That's what it
Okay.
was.
That makes sense. That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, there we go. It was really interesting on how I quickly learned how all the classes coordinate. So basically, drawing class, you're drawing out sketches and designs. You're doing whatever projects you're working on your hand ability. Drawing class might have been the hardest one for me,
Yeah. Were you like a
because they
drawer
teach.
when you were little? Like, did you
Yeah,
ever
like
grow up
I've
drawing?
always, yeah, I just grew up drawing and painting, and so I was like, okay, that class would be a breeze. But what's so hard about it is how commercialized the teachers' curriculums are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they want like very basic like croquis sketches, like they want detailed like almost hyper realism, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
their standards. So basically what I was saying is you go from drawing class, you draw out your sketches, and then um in we had Illustrator and Photoshop class, and that's where we learned how to do flats, how to sketch flats. Whoa, how to sketch flats, and then from there you go cut them out in sewing class, and you learn how to sew in sewing class, and then you take those sewings and you learn how to drape them, and it's just it all ties into one. We weren't working on like cohesive projects throughout the semester. Like each class, you know, we focused on one specific draping project, one specific sewing project, one drawing project, but as the semesters go on, your projects will coordinate with your class.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what you learn in sewing 1, you're going to be doing in sewing 2 and working on top of it. Like it's all just a gradual build. And
Gotcha.
it's pretty cool, like how all the teachers kind of know what you're doing in your other classes. Like they're like, oh, you did this, so you can do this, right? You
Yeah.
know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to just like, oh my God, like a liberal arts college. So like all our gen eds were like totally different. Like they wouldn't
Right.
like coincide with each other, but that's really cool at FIT. You can like everything helps each other out like very
Mm-hmm.
easily, which is I don't know. I think that's really cool. And like being able to like every day see how like one thing adds to another. I think would be really helpful for me, at least like in a creative space. But we're good. We're
Yeah,
back.
it really works for my brain.
Yeah.
It it just clicks. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm always engaged.
Yeah.
No matter what I was doing, it always was interesting. Like, I never zoned out in class, like, which I really struggled with going to school. I tried community college when I got out of high school because I was like, let me try it. I dropped out within like 2 months of it, or maybe a month. I think it might have been a
Oh
month
wow. Yeah.
because I just couldn't. My attention span, like they couldn't keep me. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, and I just felt very useless, and like I didn't know what I was working towards, and so it was really like a accomplishing feeling that I like found a school that like caters to my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that like a general feeling that a lot of people have that you've met at school? That like like others like liberal arts or like other colleges didn't really fit their thinking?
Um, honestly, it was hard to talk to people at FIT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't say no. I really because well, first I was in since I'm 21. I was with a lot of 18-year-olds
Gotcha.
who
Okay.
had just gotten out of high school and they were freshmen in college. So it was kind of all they knew. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I have talked to some people that have said, I do remember talking to some people that like, this doesn't feel like college.
Cool.
You
That's
know
kind
what
of a
I
cool
mean?
feeling. Yeah.
But in a way, um, like that community space isn't really there, I
Gotcha.
find.
Okay.
And it's kind of like work, work, work. It feels like we're learning like a technique and like a skill more
Right.
than we're really like, I don't know,
It's more of like a trade.
partying, doing college stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like the traditional
Um,
like Americana college experience is not what
right.
is seen. But I mean, I think that in every aspect, I mean, at least in every college that I've been to and like that I have friends at, that like
Uh-huh.
Americana-ness of college is like so misrepresentation of like all of our experiences.
Right.
Well, I guess like the big schools maybe, but like none of my friends went to big schools, so I don't really know. But
Yeah.
that's cool. Wait, can we go back to why it was hard to talk to people at FIT? I'm like, is there like ego?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Um, yeah, I had a really hard time making friends,
Gotcha.
honestly. Because I wasn't in a dorm and I was a commuter, because school's in like middle of Manhattan and I live in Brooklyn. So I had like about a hour 50 to hour minute commute.
Whoa, that's kind of a lot.
Versus yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
um, but versus like people in dorms who just like walked across the street together. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Right.
rolled out of bed and like, you know what I mean? I had to pack my bag for because I won't be home until 10. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're out there all day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So I think that kind of already set me back. Because like before school starts, everybody's like hanging out in the dorms and hanging out in each other's
Right.
rooms.
Right.
And you kind of already go to school like knowing some people, especially
Right.
because the classes are like 20 people a
Oh
class.
wow. That's small.
Yeah, it's
That's small.
very intimate. So yes, is that music too loud? Can you hear that?
No, I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
You're good.
awesome.
I just got yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, I also I think about it a lot. I kind of felt like I was going to an art school, like I said, and I was really excited about that, like to be with a lot of like just other creatives. I feel like I've never really been in that type of community versus compared to like actually the only time is probably like high school art class and
Right.
I missed it, you know what I mean? So I was really like banking on that. I feel like uh in quarantine, let's say, now this is my opinion. I know it can be controversial, but I'm
No, I'm
just
here
gonna
for
say
it.
it. I feel like in quarantine, fashion became a huge like trend. You know,
Right.
a day in my life at FIT. You know how those like TikToks were like, first I get my $7 coffee, and then I
Yeah.
get my bagel, and then I go to class, and then I go shopping, and
Like that's your
you know,
everyday. Like how are you
yeah,
affording that? Like what's going on?
yeah, what I spend in a day, and even fashion, like with like everybody wanted to be fashionable in quarantine.
For
It started
real.
to become like this cool thing versus like, and everybody wanted to dress versus like, I feel like when I was in high school, people would be like, oh, you look so nice today. How do you do that? You know
Right,
what I
right, right,
mean?
right.
But
Like why are
now
you trying
everybody's
so
like,
hard?
yeah, like,
Like
why are you trying so hard? And suddenly it just became like people started making clothes. Like, I think it was just this like huge thing that sprouted. And it's not a bad thing, but I feel like it made it hard, kind of hard to weed out the authentic people
right.
in fashion school, like who actually really loved fashion, who will study it, like listens to podcasts in their free times, knows their brands, like
Is obsessed. Like
is
is
obsessed. Like,
obsessed with the craft. Yeah.
I thought that was, yeah, obsessed with the craft. Like, I thought that's what I was going into. And people were like, yeah, I sew. You know what I mean? They're like, I've been doing it since I was like 10. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, who's your favorite designer? And they're like, uh, Johnny Versace. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, like, or just, I don't know. I'm like, that's it? That,
Right.
oh, that's
Like
really
aren't we all
cool.
supposed to be like insanely knowledgeable about like this space? Like
Yeah, yeah. So I felt like on
interesting.
that was really like, I was like, whoa. Like, it's, to me it's more than just sewing. And
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's kind of a slap in the face. Like at least get it going there with that expectation, which like I would have that expectation too. Like that's like a rightful
I mean, it's the
like
Fashion Institute of
yeah.
Technology. Like,
No, the
that we're
culture.
talking about, yeah. Like, we're supposed to, like, this is a standard, guys. You know what
For
I mean?
real. Like that's
And
crazy.
yeah, and maybe it's like I am with a bunch of younger. They're not that younger, but you know how your mind is so much different compared to when you were 18.
Yeah.
And I was told by like a few people, like, I'm intimidating, like I look like I got it together. I look like I'm like, whoa, like I have never spoke. You know what I mean? Like, people were very quick to just like, oh, she doesn't talk, like she's a bitch. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You know? So yeah.
That's okay. We can move on
Um
from that. That sucks. Like it's like that's is
no,
it
no,
getting
no.
better
I mean,
now?
I
Like
know
have you
it's
found
summer. I'm doing some summer classes, but they're
gotcha.
online.
Gotcha.
I'm still hopeful.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, of
I
course.
I know it's not. It can't be the whole school.
No.
It can't.
No.
So
You'll find your
I'm.
people. Like
Yeah.
and they'll be fucking awesome and they'll be like as cool as you and like you'll get it. Like
Yeah. Hopefully.
you'll get it. No
I'm
worries.
waiting.
Yeah. It'll come. It'll come. You'll get it. Um kind of like going back a little bit. When
Uh-huh.
when did you start like getting into fashion or like wanting to design? Was it super young or like when did that kind of time period start like being creative in the design space?
I feel, well, I've always loved to dress since I was like a little girl. Like, I remember my mom could not touch my wardrobe. Like, I was the ultimate maker.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, I always like liked to doodle and just like do crafts and stuff. But I think in like 10th grade, I had to choose like an elective, and I was like, oh, let me take art class. And I just fell in love with just art and my teachers, and like actually realized like, oh, maybe I could take this seriously and do something with this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So eventually, like, I did the APs and stuff, and I was in like a critique one day, and with my high school AP teacher. And he just always loved to just rail me, you know what I mean? And one day he said to me, he was like, because I would make paintings and I would be like, this is the title. I don't have an explanation. I loved making it. This is the creative process. This is just the final product.
Right.
And he hated that. He hated it so much. He thought that art needed meaning. And he told me one day, he was like, you know, the difference between you, Katie? And I was like, what? And he was like, the difference is you're a designer, not an artist, because you don't put meaning to your work. And at first I was like, let me go into my cubicle and shed a tear.
Right.
And then I kind of like started thinking about it, and I'm like, design. Like that sounds cool. Like I like fabric. I like clothes. Like why haven't I ever thought about that? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so then I think it was my senior year of high school. I saved up and bought a sewing machine, knowing nothing about sewing machines. And then it was like the last few weeks of school, I would like come into school and I would be, look what I made. Look what I made. I designed. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like
having your APR teacher being like, I don't care. That's insane.
He's like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I realized I was also at the time like really struggling because I felt like the mall didn't have what I wanted, and everybody in Howard County was wearing the same thing. Like I would see that shirt at American Eagle and I know where they got it, and I just kind of just started making stuff and not really thinking about it, and just making to make it, you know what I mean? And it was fun. And then you get more and more into like niche into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the designing came first, and then you got interested in fashion. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah. I kind of took designing as like an extension of an art form, which I mean it is. But I never really thought of it as an art form, as like I feel like because the only art exposure I really had was high school, you know what I mean? So they didn't really teach you to think out of the box. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I never really had any fashion friends. Like I always knew stuff, and like I knew my brands, and like I knew, but it just was never around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Nor did I really care. Nobody cared. Like
no,
nobody gave a fuck.
No. Yeah. So for all you listeners, Katie and I grew up in like the same, literally like so close to each other, I think. But like,
where did you go to school?
I went to school like I went private school my whole life because I was like super Catholic. I like grew up like super fucking Catholic. And so I went to OLPH, which is like right next to Bonnie Branch.
In my backyard. Yeah.
For real. And I lived like down the street from there. So, and then I went to like Mount St. Joe for high school, but I would have gone to Howard.
I see.
Yeah. And the only people we had in Howard County that were like made names for themselves, not even in the fashion industry, were like Bryce Hall and like who was on my soccer team for a year. Like that's it. Some kid fought him and he lost. So that was like the biggest.
It sounds ever. Like Bryce Hall.
For
He's
real.
Not the man you think he is.
For real. And Snail Mail, I guess, is the other person who's really big.
Really?
Yeah. I think Centennial or Hebron she's from. Yeah.
I was about to buy tickets with her with my coworkers. That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Is that crazy? Yeah. When I found that out, I was like, because no one is from Howard County. Like it's
Brent Baez.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Long Reach.
Dude. Okay. Well, we have some names, I guess. We have some names.
We maybe have some names.
Yeah, maybe we do. But anyway, aside of that, like no one was like wearing stuff or like new stuff, at least not the people that I knew, not in my little circle, not in my little bubble. Like, and so being able to like, I know, I guess I found out about fashion through like YouTube. Like Hot La Mode was like
Mhm.
my like first introduction to it. And then it was
Yeah.
like Iris Van Herpen was the first designer that I was like, oh, people like make clothes as like an art form. Like
Yeah.
that's dope. And then like my
Right.
world like
The
exploded.
mind clicking.
For
Yeah.
real. It
Like,
was like and it just like made sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then so then it went from there. But yeah, no one was really doing it in Howard County the way I needed someone to do it for me in like fashion. So
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, there was the screen printers, there was like
right.
but never did I really come across somebody that sewed or like, yeah, cared
Yeah.
about it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I guess that's you were kind of the first person that I saw that I was like, oh, they're doing like cool shit that I want to like talk about, or like I want to see what they do. And like I want to
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because no one was I wasn't, like you said, you can't find any of that stuff at the mall. Like people that are doing their own individual thing. Like I remember you're
Right.
making like bucket hats like early on, and I was like, dude, someone knows how to make a bucket hat near me. Like that's dope. Like, and then like you started screen printing, and I was like, wait, this person's like really cool. So um then I guess I was like, we just like were DM each other like back and forth. Like I guess early in the
You
pandemic,
were just a creative I knew that was somewhere close in
proximity.
proximity.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
literally it. And then I like just saw
Colin
people.
House. That's how I know you. Colin
Yes.
House.
Shout out to Colin.
Yes. Shout out to
um,
Colin.
and yeah, I guess that's how the connection was. Because I saw like who
Mhm.
followed you or whatever. But yeah, it was just I was
I
like,
still remember him coming to school and he was like, "Do you know James Glover?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And
I did
he
not
was
know
like,
he
"Are you
name
sure?"
dropped me.
Sorry, Colin. I'm totally. He was like, "Do you know James Glover?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "How do you not know him?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Well, I'm doing a photo shoot and I'm blue and it's a
Oh,
rainbow theme."
that was my
And
fucking. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
it was adorable. And
That's
he's like, "And
so
I have so
cute.
much blue." I don't. He was so excited for it. And then the
Oh,
pictures came out. Oh, it was
he
it was a really cute thing.
that's so cute. He ate that up. Shout out to Colin.
Shout
That's
out
so
to
cute.
Colin.
Yeah, so I guess that's how we knew each other. And then I would just like DM you and like buy your stuff that you're making. Like it was just like so cool. Um, when did you start like so you said you started sewing your senior year of high school. And
uh,
then and then I guess like when did you get like how did you get to know about FIT? Like was that always on your radar once you got your sewing machine? Like what was that like?
so senior year of high school, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to study.
Yeah.
Um, I felt like so much stuff. Like you had to pick something, and I just totally got really, really overwhelmed. And I tried looking at Micah and their textiles program. I did visit FIT, and I was like, I want to go here. Um, but I could never make the decision. Like I could never fully commit. I didn't know what fashion design was. I had no clue what I was getting into. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially for a person who just started sewing, like um I just didn't know. So I was like, okay, I'll go to community college and it will be safe. Um and then I think I quickly realized like being community college was just like a second Howard County. And it was
Yeah.
just, I would see people who were just pulled out of the ass crack of my brain and who I haven't seen since like fourth grade. And
Just
we
popping
had
up.
this, yeah, just popping, like spawning everywhere. Like I,
That's
it was,
terrifying.
yeah. And it just quickly made me realize like, I need to get out of here. I need to work and just not,
Yeah.
I've just got to work on getting out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And school is not going to do it at this point. Um, so yeah, I just started working full time. And I think my goal was within like a year to just pick a place and go, but quarantine happened.
Right. Fuck.
So that probably pushed me back like a little more than 2 years, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
2.5 maybe. Um, and so looking back, I am very grateful for it because as much as I hated it, it just kind of forced me to learn something. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it was YouTube University. Like
For real.
if I can't go anywhere, if I can't do anything, I'm at least gonna learn something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And do something that's feeding me, feeding
Yeah.
my brain. And I think just from like being just a bedroom artist, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just
Yeah.
figuring it out, getting really frustrated, like staying up and you know,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it came to a point where I still hadn't made a decision. And I had been to New York like 3 times. At that point, didn't really know much about it. I really wanted to go to SCAD
Okay.
because
In
that was
In
my.
Atlanta, right? Georgia.
They have it. I wanted to go to the Atlanta branch. Because I had followed a lot of artists who live in Georgia, and I visited Georgia with my boyfriend, and I was just like, I love it here. Like, this is everything I want to live. And then I realized in Georgia, you need a car, which I was trying to run away from my car payment. I was so done with it. You needed a car. It was a huge move. I didn't know how I was going to get my stuff there. And school was $60K for 4 years.
Shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's an Ivy League. That's wild.
That's an Ivy League.
Yeah. Which, like, granted, is the Ivy League of art schools, but like, still, like, that's wild.
I thought RISD was. Is it not anymore?
See, I don't know anything about art schools. That's just from my mid to little knowledge. I just
it's up there. It's like probably one of the top ones.
Yeah, because like all I know is Rachel Amandi went there and Christopher John Rogers. So in my head, it's like that's a big dog.
They produce prodigies. Like,
yeah, for real.
They produce prodigies. For real. Like so I started looking into FIT again, and I just wasn't ready to be in just such a big city. Like, I don't know, I liked the warmth. Like, and so then I looked at FIT, and FIT had remarkable prices. Like, and they offer in-state tuition.
To outstate?
They offer in-state tuition.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So
that's cool.
I was like, oh, well, if I live there for a year, school is going to be half. It's like I think it's $8K a semester out of state, and then $4K in state. Yeah.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. And so that was like and that's insane for art school.
And insane for like United States universities. Like, that's crazy.
Universities.
Yeah.
Especially with Parsons being 60, and it's like, not too far away. You know what I mean? So I think that was when I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to pay for a car. I was like, okay, I'll choose that. But I didn't even apply there until I got here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like
so you're already in New York.
I was like, I need to get out of my house so bad. I was a nanny, a quarantine nanny.
Oh my!
Is how I got
your soul. That's wild.
Yeah, is how I got my funds to get here, and I just was full time for.
Wow.
You
deserve that move.
Like 2 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and so I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to go. Like, I need to be around people my age. Like, and so I found a roommate on Facebook.
Yep.
And I moved. I met her when I got here. I never saw the apartment. I just said I wanted a window and a closet and my budget. and then I applied, and I was like, if I get in, I get in. If I don't, at least I'm out of my house. You know what I mean? For real,
yeah. You have your own space, which is a game changer in itself. We could do a whole episode about your own space, but yeah. That's cool that you were so driven to be like, all right, I'm done, and this is what I want, like, and I'm gonna do it. And you did it. Like, that's so cool. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very grateful.
That's cool.
I get down on myself some days, but then I'm like, well, wait, You've done a lot.
Yeah. Take a break.
Yeah.
Look at what
Take a
you've
break.
done. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I totally get that. Okay, to wrap this up super quick, I have like a cute, like just like a few like rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite designers right now? Give me like your top three
Right now,
or
I feel
brands.
like it's kind of just always. I really like Autolinger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Home,
Obviously.
and I'm really liking. I always say this wrong. So, uh either Kiko Costa or Celine Branson. Her dresses are like really doing something to me right now.
Wait, you had to put me on to those two because I have never heard of them before. So you need to send me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look that up or whatever.
yeah, I will.
But Comb, I mean, Comb is it. Like
Yeah,
that's it. That's good.
always.
That's a great top four. Like there, Ray is like the one. Anyway, that's so cool. Where do you want your work to go? Where do you want to see your work go in like 10 years? Like, what's your
um,
goals?
that's a hard question. I don't know if I want to be a designer, believe it or
Okay.
not. As much as I love making clothes, the idea of owning a brand and running it, I don't want to do.
Scary.
It's scary, it's money. It's a lot of
It's a
fucking
lot of
money.
money.
The teachers at FIT are very, they'll tell you a lot. Like, oh, maybe you should look into furniture design.
I'm glad they're honest with
Any
you all.
children's wear, like, I don't know if you guys are gonna make it in streetwear. Like, it's a big competition. Yeah, I just, I think my goal is to work with like-minded individuals who and just feel a part of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all working to make whatever it is, make it. You know what I mean? Whatever the space, if it is clothes, if it's somehow centered around fashion and art and but I don't know if I want to design. Like,
yeah. That's okay. I mean, the
yeah.
art and the fashion world are literally so huge. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we don't have to have like a plan or whatever. I think plans are overrated, but that's just me. But whatever. And then my last question is, where can people find you if you want people to like follow your socials or whatever? You don't have to if you don't want to. I can cut this out too.
No. They can find me at I really stopped using my art. I used to have my art account that I would post everything on, and I really got sick of monetizing my art and stopped liking it. So now you can just reach me on my personal page. It's Cacti KD.
Cool. I'll link
with
it
a
below.
K. Yeah.
I'll put the little link below so you can like just click and follow her.
Yeah.
That's dope. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Any last things you want to say? Like, I don't know. Advice to kids who want to go to FIT? Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't say don't give up, but I feel like that's cliche. But really, just don't. Like, keep working on your craft, and you'll get somewhere. And if you say it enough to yourself in your head, it will happen.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I have realized is like what's like the catchy word that everyone's using now? It's like whatever. I forget it, but like saying it to yourself.
Manifest?
Like, yes. I hate that
catchy
word.
I hate that word too. But
like
just say it in your head a lot. It kind of works.
No, it
kind of works.
That's what's so crazy about it is it works. It's like insane. People, like, you got it. I mean, I still have to tell myself that literally like every hour, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Katie, thank you so much for coming on. This is like, I'm so excited. I was so excited to talk to you, to meet you. Like, one
Yeah,
day
yeah,
we will meet
yeah.
each other in person, like, whenever that happens. But,
Yes,
um,
please let me know if you're ever here. Are you coming for Pride? Yeah,
dude, when is that?
Sunday.
Oh my. Right now I'm broke. I'm so broke. It's not funny, but I heard Madonna's
I get it.
performing. So,
Where?
at New York Pride, dude. I'll send you
Like
her.
at the parade?
Allegedly, her Instagram is blowing up about it.
Oh my god!
You,
Oh, I'm in for a treat.
dude,
Okay.
if you see Madonna, that's insane. Like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh my
No,
god.
but I will definitely
Okay.
hit you up if I'm ever in New York. Sometimes New
Yes,
York's
please.
it's a little too big for me, but if I'm ever up there,
Yeah.
I'll let you know for
I'd love
sure.
to do some work together too. Like,
Dude, if you ever are like,
yeah.
whatever you need, I got you. Like photography, digital
Yeah.
design, video, whatever. I got you.
Amazing.
Dude, I would love to shoot a lookbook or whatever, but you already know that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've had that conversation.
yeah, we've had that conversation. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This has been The Creatives. If you love the podcast, if you're listening, give us a like, a rate, a comment, tell your friends, send this to your friends. And if you all know anyone who wants to be on the show, that you love their work and you want me to pick their brains a little bit, let me know, DM me. All right. Thank you all for listening. Bye.